It's very simple, guys. This band is not this dumbbell. They cannot be compared except from the standpoint of they're both going to go ahead and train your muscles to get fatigued and adapt. Outside of that, these two are distinctly different. Let me take you through exactly what I mean by that and why you shouldn't keep driving yourself crazy trying to compare a dumbbell with a band. Well, guys, Dave Schmidt's ResistanceBandTraining.com. Thanks for joining me today for another Bandman training experience that I think you're going to learn and enjoy a great deal. You know, a lot of people ask me about band resistance and how do I quantify band resistance when I'm training? Well, the point is I don't. See, I'm not training with a band to go ahead and get the same effect I would with a dumbbell or a free weight. They're distinctly different. The dumbbell is a constant resistance. The band is a ascending variable resistance. What I'm trying to do when I train with bands is get an effect. Yeah, I'm trying to go ahead and challenge my muscles to train under an ascending variable resistance to get a response. That's why I'm training with a band. I'm not going to use resistance or poundage to vary how much I'm doing. I'm going to use effort. Yeah, I'm going to use effort, and I'm also going to go ahead and I can very easily use reps per set to monitor my effort. But that said, I'm not training with a band to go ahead and quantify it so that I can use it the same way I do a dumbbell. And the sooner you go ahead and understand that, the more effective band training is going to be for you. I mean, let's talk for a second just about a few of the variables that come with training with this band. Variable number one. How thick is your band? How wide is your band? And where's your band tension starting? Those are all variables that are going to change as you train with them. If your band is only 4 millimeters thick, it's going to have less tension in it. If it's only 3/4 inch wide like this black medium band, it's going to have less resistance in it than a 1-inch band. The point is this. There's a lot of variables that come with training with elastic resistance, which is great, which is why your body adapts to it so awesome. But the point is, you're going to struggle trying to quantify how much poundage or how much resistance you're pushing, pulling, squatting. I want to take you through instead and now point out a few things that you really want to pay attention to when you're training with resistance bands so you get full benefit of resistance training and the resistance of the band, get full benefit of it. Let me take you through a few things that you really want to go ahead and focus in on instead. Number one, where's your starting resistance? You know, if I go back here and I hook this band on, and I hook it onto here, and I start it here, that's going to be a different resistance than if I step out here and start. So where's your starting resistance? Make sure that you have a good starting resistance that you can handle. And how do you know what's the best starting resistance? Well, can you finish the movement? Which is the next thing I want to talk to you about. Hey, are you finishing the movement? If you're not finishing the movement, the likelihood is you're not getting the full benefit of the resistance being generated by the band. So make sure you can finish the movement. Make sure your starting resistance allows you to finish the movement. And here's the real key, guys. In order to go ahead and make your muscle really respond, you've got to keep the muscle under tension. Well, guys, a band is very much like a muscle. You also got to keep the band under tension so the muscle stays under tension. Let me show you what I mean. If I go out here and I set this resistance, my band is under tension right now, which means as soon as I go to push, my muscle is going to be under tension as well. So now, as long as I can finish the movement, I've got the muscle under tension the whole time. Those are key factors in when you're training with a band and getting the right resistance and setting the right resistance, is making sure that you have the system and the muscle under tension. Now, how do you do that with certain movements? Well, you're going to have to learn to adapt and adjust the band according to the movement. Let me show you what I mean. A lot of people, when they stand on the band, they stand on it in this position. and they've got their feet shoulder width apart. Now they come on up and they set the band up here to go ahead and do front squats. But they really don't have a lot of resistance when they get all the way down into their squat. So what do I do to compensate for that? Well, I don't adjust my feet anymore. What I do is I reach down on the band and take up a resistance that is between my hand and my foot, that when I go ahead and I get the band up here, now I have tension all the way through the range of motion. And so my point is this: you're going to have to learn to adapt and adjust the band setup to fit your stature. And the key thing is making sure that the usable portion of the band is providing you tension throughout the full range of motion, just like I demonstrated. Down the front squat. The usable range of motion was from my foot to my hand. Let me take a pull apart as an example. All right, I see a lot of people doing pull aparts like this. Well, the key resistance here is between my hands. As I go to pull apart, I haven't gotten any resistance yet, barely got any resistance, and now I finish the movement. So what I've done is I haven't adapted the usable resistance to make sure I have resistance through the full range of motion. So instead what I do is I wrap it on my hand there, wrap it on my hand here. Now my hands are this far apart and the usable resistance is between my hands. So now when I pull apart, I'm getting a resistance through the full range of motion. That's one of the benefits of band training, is you can adapt the band because it's so pliable. All you have to do is make sure that the amount of band you're using, the usable portion of the band, is not being overstretched. And that's all you got to worry about. So, that's another key component to going ahead and making sure that the resistance you're using is appropriate resistance. And therefore, muscles are getting a great response. Now, we also talked about this. Well, don't go ahead and use bands and try to quantify them with poundage. Don't do that. Go ahead and quantify it with your effort. You know what muscle fatigue feels like. You know how your muscles feel when they can't go ahead and generate one more contraction. They're fatigued out. Did that take you 10, 12 reps? Did that take you 30 reps? Well, if you're trying to gain strength and you want to go ahead and really load the muscle with heavy resistance, doing 40 or 50 reps at one time is probably not what you want to do. Instead, what you want to do is you want to shoot for that maybe 10 to 15 reps. So you've got to set your tension of your band accordingly. So that's how you can go ahead and measure resistance capabilities and how it's impacting your body. But to go ahead and sit there and worry about what the poundage is at a specific movement, it's not going to happen. Lastly, when you go to my chart and you view the chart and you look at all the resistances of the band, those resistances were measured based on taking a band like this red band, putting it at 41 inches, and then stretching it linearly every 6 inches and measuring it. Well, guys, that's not the way this is not a band training or a band exercise is always going to be performed. We just showed you the pull apart. I only used half of the band. So as a result of that, where does that tension fall into that red band? It's the same red band, but now I'm using it only half. So what is the resistance on that? I don't know. I don't care. I'm looking for effort and I'm looking for my muscles to respond. And that's the key. That's the real key to training with resistance, and specifically training with resistance bands. Guys, I hope that helped you out. I hope that gave you some clarification. And I hope that that also helps you not worry about band resistance, but worry about getting the effect of training with a variable resistance. That's the key, guys. That's what your body's adapting to. That's why your body's responding to resistance. And as long as you give me effort, you're going to get a great response. Thanks for joining me today. Have a great day.